Marcel spent the family's money on lottery bets and, upon discovering that he had won, decided to hide the victory from his wife. What he did not imagine, however, was that she was also keeping a surprising secret. Hello, my friends. I am Linda, and this is Linda's Love Stories. I hope you enjoy this story. Carol and Marcel were a young couple facing the challenges of life with love and determination. They lived in a small rented apartment in the suburbs of a bustling city, where they were raising their 1-year-old son. The apartment was simple but cozy, decorated with modest furniture and family photos on the walls. Carol, a 28-year-old woman, had wavy brown hair and eyes that shone with optimism. Even in the most difficult moments, she kept a smile on her face and a positive attitude. Before the birth of their son, Carol worked as a secretary in an office, but the couple decided she would stay home to take care of the baby during his early years. Marcel, at 30 years old, was a tall and strong man with dark skin and a captivating smile. He worked as a doorman in a middle-class condominium, where he spent long hours observing the lives of more affluent residents. Despite the fatigue, Marcel always came home with the energy to play with his son and talk with Carol about their dreams for the future. Every night, after dinner, Marcel dedicated himself to studying to become an electrician. He dreamed of having his own business one day, but for now he focused on learning the trade to get a better job. Carol supported him unconditionally, reviewing the material with him and making coffee to keep him awake during the long study nights. The small apartment was filled with the sound of the baby's laughter and the smell of homemade food that Carol prepared with care. Despite financial difficulties, the love between them was palpable, like a warm blanket that enveloped them on the coldest days. On a sunny Saturday afternoon, Marcel was on his shift at the condominium when one of the residents, a middle-aged man always well-dressed, approached the gate. "Hey there, Marcel. Have you made your lottery bet for this week yet?" the man asked with a broad smile. Marcel, surprised by the question, answered politely, "No, sir. I don't usually play the lottery." "You should, young man," exclaimed the resident. "The prize is accumulated. Just imagine what you could do with all that money." The man's words echoed in Marcel's mind for the rest of the day. He imagined what it would be like to buy his own house, provide a comfortable life for Carol and their son, pay for a good school, and even open his own electrical business. The idea of solving all his financial problems at once was too tempting to ignore. After leaving work, Marcel stopped at a lottery booth. With trembling hands, he took some bills from his pocket, the money Carol had asked him to buy diapers for the baby. "Just this once," he thought, trying to justify it to himself. "If I win, we'll never have to worry about money for diapers again." Marcel made several bets, spending all the money he had with him. His heart was racing, a mixture of hope and guilt overtaking him. When he got home, Carol greeted him with a kiss and a tight hug from their son. "Love, did you bring the diapers?" Carol asked, as she placed the baby on the floor to crawl. Marcel's face paled. The reality of what he had done hit him like a punch in the stomach. I forgot," he stammered, avoiding looking into his wife's eyes. Carol frowned, confused. "What do you mean, forgot?" "Marcel, you know we're on the last diaper. What are we going to do now?" The frustration in Carol's voice was evident. For the first time since they got married, Marcel saw her patience run out. Carol's usually serene face was now tense, her lips pressed into a thin line. "I'm sorry, Carol. I made a mistake," Marcel admitted, the shame weighing heavily on his shoulders. Carol took a deep breath, trying to calm herself. "All right, I'll borrow some diapers from the neighbour. But please, Marcel, we can't afford to forget such important things." That night, dinner was silent. Marcel could barely swallow his food, the weight of his careless decisions suffocating him. Carol, on the other hand, seemed lost in thought, responding with only a few words when Marcel tried to make conversation. The days that followed were tense. Carol, always so cheerful and optimistic, seemed distant and worried. Marcel noticed that she had started to take phone calls in private, speaking softly and hanging up quickly when he approached. Some afternoons she would leave saying she was going to visit her mother, but took longer than usual to return. "Is everything all right, Carol?" Marcel asked, the concern evident in his voice. Yes, everything's great," she would reply, with a smile that didn't reach her eyes. Marcel felt that something was wrong, but he didn't know how to approach the subject. The fear of having disappointed Carol with his reckless behaviour prevented him from pressing further. The day of the lottery drawing arrived. Marcel could barely concentrate at work, his heart racing every time he thought about the numbers he had picked. On the night of the drawing, he was glued to the television, anxiously checking the numbers that appeared on the screen. And then it happened. The numbers matched. Marcel had won the grand prize. The initial shock gave way to indescribable euphoria. Marcel wanted to scream, jump, tell everyone. But then he looked at Carol, who was nursing the baby in the next room, unaware of the drastic change that had just occurred in their lives. In that moment, Marcel decided to keep the secret for a while. He wanted to surprise Carol, to give her and their child everything they had always dreamed of. In the days that followed, Marcel maintained his usual routine, going to work as a doorman and studying at night. Secretly, he started looking for houses for sale, wanting to find the perfect home for his family. Finally, after visiting several properties, he found the ideal house, a beautiful 2-story residence with a spacious yard and a large tree perfect for a treehouse in the future. Marcel bought the house without hesitation, barely able to wait to show it to Carol. He planned to take the family to see their new home that very afternoon after his shift at the condominium. However, fate had other plans. As he approached the new house, Marcel saw something that made his heart freeze. Carol was leaving a neighbouring house, warmly saying goodbye to a man Marcel did not know. The man waved at Carol as she walked away, a friendly smile on his face. Marcel's mind was flooded with dark thoughts. Why would Carol be there? Who was that man? All the mysterious outings, the hidden phone calls. Everything seemed to make terrible sense now. With a heavy heart and a whirlwind mind, Marcel drove back home later. He found Carol in the kitchen, preparing dinner as if nothing had happened. "Where were you this afternoon?" Marcel asked, trying to keep his voice calm. Carol hesitated for a moment before answering. "I went to visit my mother, as always." The lie hit Marcel like a slap in the face. "No, Carol, I saw you. You were leaving a house in the new neighbourhood. Who was that man?" Carol's face paled. She dropped the spoon she had been using to stir the soup and turned to face her husband. Her eyes, always so clear and honest, were now full of guilt and fear. "Marcel, I can explain," she began, her voice trembling. Marcel felt a wave of anger rising within him. He was about to explode, to accuse Carol of betrayal. He couldn't accept this. It was more than enough reason for a separation, and he was about to make a mistake when she kept talking, the words rushing out. "I know we agreed that I would stay home with the baby, but I couldn't stand to see you killing yourself working and studying anymore. I needed to help Marcel. So, I started cleaning houses." Marcel's anger dissipated instantly, replaced by confusion. "Cleaning houses?" Carol nodded, tears beginning to form in her eyes. "Yes, cleaning. That man you saw is just another client. I clean his house twice a week." She took her cell phone and showed Marcel the messages exchanged with her employers. Then she went to the closet and took out a bag with cleaning supplies. "Here," she said, handing Marcel an envelope. "It's the money from the last cleaning jobs. I was saving it to surprise you, maybe to pay the next rent." Marcel was stunned. All the suspicion and anger he had felt moments before turned into profound shame. He had doubted Carol, the woman who had always been by his side, who had always supported him in every moment. "Carol, I'm so sorry," Marcel stammered, the tears now streaming freely down his face. I thought I believed. Carol approached and hugged him tightly. I know, my love. I'm sorry for hiding this from you. I just wanted to help, but I was afraid that you would feel diminished or think that I didn't trust your ability to provide for the family. Marcel returned the hug, feeling Carol's love and loyalty surrounding him. In that moment, he realized how foolish he had been to doubt her, even for an instant. Carol, I have something to confess as well, Marcel said, gently pulling away from the embrace. He told her about the lottery, about how he had won the $1 million prize and bought a new house for them. Carol listened with wide eyes, alternating between expressions of surprise, joy, and concern. But Marcel, why didn't you tell me earlier? She asked when he finished speaking. I wanted to surprise you. I wanted to take you there and see your face when you discovered that we had our own house, he responded, a little embarrassed. But now I see that hiding this from you was a mistake. We are a team. We should have made this decision together. Carol smiled, her eyes shining with love and understanding. You're right. We are a team. And now how about we go see our new house? Marcel grabbed the car keys while Carol prepared the baby. The journey to their new house was filled with lively conversations about their plans for the future. When they finally arrived, Marcel made a point of carrying Carol over the threshold, just as he had dreamed of doing since their wedding day. Carol's reaction upon seeing the house was everything Marcel had imagined, and more. She ran from room to room, exclaiming with joy at each new detail she discovered. The baby, caught up in the parents' excitement, clapped their hands and laughed. In the backyard under the large tree, Marcel embraced Carol and their child. Welcome to our new home, he said, his voice choked with emotion. In the months that followed, Marcel and Carol worked together to transform not only the house but also their lives. With the prize money, they opened a residential cleaning and repair business, combining Carol's experience with cleaning and Marcel's knowledge of electricity. The company grew rapidly, earning the trust of customers through honesty and quality service. Marcel was finally able to use his skills as an electrician, while Carol managed the administrative side and customer service. More important than financial success, however, was the lesson they both learned about the importance of communication and trust in a relationship. Secrets, even kept with the best intentions, had almost caused an irreparable rift in their family. Now, sitting on the porch of their beautiful home, watching their child play in the yard, Marcel and Carol knew they had built something far more valuable than a house or a successful business. They had strengthened their love, based on honesty, mutual support, and unwavering trust in each other. If you enjoyed, please give it a like and subscribe to the channel. Leave a comment with a number from 1 to 5 to let us know how much you liked the story. Also, watch the video that is currently on your screen. See you soon.